Learning how to play a straight bow is an essential skill for violinists. Even though we might not necessarily always want an entirely straight bow, we have to be able to produce one on demand. You can watch your bow in the mirror. Maybe you could put your bow up for us. So maybe in the middle, that's good. So you could see this space between her bow and the bridge, and you can see that her bridge is entirely parallel with the bow. And this is a good omen for the future because it means that she's not going to have a crooked bow and run into the bridge. Okay, she can see this if she closes one eye. Can you see the size of that little square? And now I'll go to the tip. And what happened to the size of the square?
A little smaller.
Yes. So you did what Mr. Galamian would call tip in. Okay. So as far as having a straight bow, that's not what we want. It might be exactly what you want for your phrase, but let's try to go back and have a straight bow. Good. And to the tip again. And to the frog. Good. Now, I'm just holding you there because you were about to make a correction. What do you notice about that little box? Is it a square?
Not exactly.
Not exactly. So she's doing the tiniest little bit of frog away, and it's probably not going to be enough to bother her. But for the purpose of this exercise, we're trying to keep that little box exactly the same size no matter where she is in the bow. So how does that happen? She has to do various things with her arm to change that track of the bow. If you put your bow right on the frog, Sabina, this is one of the 3 Galamian bow shapes. So this is what he called the small triangle. Then you go to the middle of the bow, or what he would call middle bow square. You can see her elbows at a 90-degree angle, and her upper arm and her bow are parallel and pretty much on the same plane. Then when she goes to the tip, now she's got what Mr. Galamian called the big triangle. So those are the 3 main shapes of the bow in the Galamian bow arm. And you can do various things if you want a crescendo. What would you do on a down bow? Nice. So she went right to the bridge, and she got a crescendo. How about a diminuendo on an up bow? Right now, of course, she's also lightening her arm, but you can see that this process is helped by her allowing that angle to open up slightly. What if you were to play the opening of the Prokofiev? Okay, so I couldn't see, but was your sounding point pretty even the whole time?
For the most part, I think so.
Okay, and did you have to make any little adjustments?
I wanted to be careful getting to the tip, not to lose the contact point, to keep the sound more consistent.
And so what did you do?
Thinking about pushing my arm forward out a little bit.
The frog away tip in, okay. And there are lots of people that might play always frog away tip in. Would you recommend that to somebody playing this opening? And if so, if not, why not?
I wouldn't recommend it for the whole thing. At the frog, it's going to have the opposite effect. So I would recommend a more consistent sounding point.
Good answer, good answer. So if Sabina were to start this dark opening with her frog away, Now, what's going to happen to her sound? So clearly she's not comfortable. She has to draw the bow very slowly at this beginning. And if your sound point is too far away and you try to make a slow bow, it's really not going to project, right? So having the bow very straight at this opening, I think, is perfect. And then where's your next phrase note?
I think the E flat to the C sharp.
I agree. I agree. So what did you do with your bow?
Keeping it flatter on the hair and more straight so that you hear both of those clearly.
At the end of the down bow. Yeah. So in other words, everything that you do on the violin, you have to be thinking about what your bow is doing, what track it's taking, where you want to be at the start of the next bow. So it's not enough to just draw the bow and, go get a coffee. You really have to be constantly, okay, coming up is a phrase note. I have to be closer to the bridge. Coming up is a note. We didn't even get to, right? That's a really tricky one because if she doesn't play very lightly on that separate quarter note, she's going to have a weird accent. You want to show them what I'm talking about? How about Wow, that's terrific. Great sound. So she did that really, really well because that F sharp did not stick out. Were you a little pinched in the next bow?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe you could, still without an accent, travel a little bit more. You want to try it once more on the up bow? That was beautiful. I like to say that the violin, unlike many things in life, it is fair. If you figure out what you need to do and you do it, it will give you exactly what you are asking of it. That's not always true with people, sadly. So these tiny little changes in bow angle can help her move the bow so that she can get to the next bow in the part she wants to be. It can help her phrase so she can go to the bridge when she wants to bring out a note. And you're managing this all very, very, very well. So I love this. Now I want to talk about the freedom of the shoulder blade.